Welcome back to PSL Living. I'm Sarah Prohaska, Public Information Officer with the City of Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie students go back to school August 15th. With us here today is Kelly Starling of AT&T to give us some tips about how to pick out the correct device for your student and how to use that device safely. Hi, Kelly. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so what should parents be thinking about when they're going to buy a mobile device for their students?
The first thing we suggest is before you even go out and start looking for a device, you need to determine how you want the child to use it. Are you going to be looking for a device strictly for safety reasons to kind of give you peace of mind, or are you okay if they have a device where they have access to the internet?
Okay.
I mean, that'll help you right there going out the door, because there are very simple devices where they make calls and text and that's it. And then you have the smartphone devices that give them access to the internet and have all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So think about that before you go out.
Okay.
Also, if this, again, is mostly like an emergency safety device and cost is a concern, you might want to think about a prepaid option like the Go Phone, where you pay as you go.
Okay.
And you can say to the child, I've put like $100 worth of minutes on here. When it's done, it's done.
You use it and
right.
You lose
and
it
may be a good way to teach them. And if you want more minutes, you have to earn to put more minutes on there.
And how to budget their minutes.
Right. And there's no contract involved with that. And again, you know that this is what you're putting into it, and when it's done, it's done.
Okay.
Or you may want to consider, if cost is an issue, they now have where you the plans, like we have the next plan, where you can get a smartphone with zero down and do low monthly installment payments.
Okay.
So that's another option.
Okay.
Also, if all of your existing family is on with the same provider, then you might want to consider getting a plan like, say, mobile share, where you can share that data among different family members. We have that. My husband, myself, my mother, and there's always some people that don't use much data, others who use a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to, again, it's
balance it out.
Yes, and to help you save some money there as well.
Okay.
To help you manage their usage, and all the providers have some type of shortcuts. But for instance, you can enter, if you're AT&T, star min hashtag or star data hashtag to see how much data they used, where they are on that.
Okay.
But again, it's all about if you can try to figure those things out. And if you decide to go with a smartphone, they're going to require a data plan.
Yes.
The provider should have an online data calculator to give you an idea of how much you need to start with.
Okay.
Whatever you decide to go with, because kids, their primary choice of communication is texting, definitely consider unlimited texting. Otherwise, I mean, they can send over $2,000 a month. Otherwise, you're going to have, sticker shock when you get the first bill, and you've gone way over.
That's a definite, high priority, especially if you have a teenager or middle school kid.
Right.
You said that there is an option if you only want calling and texting ability cut off from the internet altogether. That is an option, correct?
They have basic phones, right, where you can just do that, and you don't, like, they have a lot of the quick messaging phones that have the keypad, and you don't have to worry about access to the internet. So it's just a good thing to kind of figure that out before you go. And I think, like I said, what's key is, if it's about them getting their first device, that you're okay with them using whatever, or if you strictly want this to give you peace of mind, so you know they get home from the bus stop okay, or go from point A to point B okay. That's the key thing.
Okay.
And you might also want to ask your provider about any type of location-based services, like Family Map, that will let you see the location of any of the devices on your account, so that you can, if Tommy's supposed to be at grandmother's at 3, you can get a little alert and check and see where that device is at 3.
Oh, that's
so that
great.
gives you some peace of mind too.
Yeah, okay. So once they have it, what are some of the things that parents can teach their kids to do to use it safely? Number one, don't text and drive.
Right. That's important. If the child is a teenager and they're driving now, definitely just stress to them that no text, no email, no glance, no post is worth a life. It can wait. The It Can Wait campaign started many years ago. It started off with a focus on texting. That was the big issue. But as phones have evolved into smartphones, now there's so many more things you can do that we've evolved that campaign into focusing on all smartphones distractions. So definitely have that conversation. They can take the pledge to keep their eyes on the road, not on their phone, at itcanwait.com. You, the parent, can print out a pledge as well. I mean, you can do it electronically, but sometimes just printing out something and signing the line makes it feel a little more efficient. beneficial.
Yes,
but do it with them so you can show you're just as committed as they are. There are free apps out there that can help you curb their appetite to use that device when they're driving. The Drive Mode app we have is free. And basically, when it's enabled, if someone, first of all, the text alerts you get letting you know that you've got a text waiting or silenced, and the person sending the text will get an automatic reply letting let him know the person is driving right now.
And what is that called again?
That's Drive Mode. And it's free. And there's tons out there too. Go to whatever your app store is on your device, and you'd be surprised how many there are.
Great.
And also with that, if the child, or the teen, I should say, tries to disable the app, the parent will be alerted. So there's a way of thinking, okay, if they're going to try to get around this, I will find out they're trying to get around it.
You're always one step ahead.
Right.
Yes.
The other thing, which is so important, and I'm a big user of this, is take advantage of parental controls. Talk to your provider. What kind of parental controls do you offer? You can even find parental controls out there that are like MobiSep that aren't affiliated with a provider. But a lot of the providers have their own parental controls. Like we have smart limits for wireless and home internet. And with the smart limits for wireless, again, not only is it going to give you peace of mind knowing you can manage the way your child is using that device, and in some ways it can help save you money when I explain. But for instance, you can determine how many download purchases the child has. You can determine the times of day the phone is used. You can block unwanted calls from up to 30 numbers. You can block unwanted data. You can determine all those things. And in the process, that can help you save money as well. The key, though, is to give you that feeling of knowing, okay, I know how this phone is being used. I know when this phone is being used. So take advantage of the parental controls. Be aware of what your kids are doing online. You know, sit down and talk to them. Where do you like to go on the internet? What are some of the sites you visit? Are you, you know, when you play Minecraft, are you doing it with other people across the country?
Are you doing it with your friends?
Right. Who is it? Strangers you're communicating with? Just have that frank conversation and just let them know that as a responsible parent that, you know, you are going to monitor their activities. Ask them for their passwords and tell them you'll only use it in case of an emergency, but that you would like the password. I mean, that is important. And as a parent, you know, I know people worry about policing, but it is a right you have, and gosh forbid something happen. You want to make sure you can get into that. You can try to friend or follow, but, you know, some kids you'll know if that's going to go or not. So if that's not the way to go, then ask another trusted adult friend if they would mind friending or following your child. I mean, because you have your neighbors check on your kids. It's the same thing. They're spending most of their time online, and that's another way to make sure that they're okay out there.
They can give you a heads up if there's anything.
And a big thing right now, of course, is cyberbullying, as you know. And we've heard so many sad stories about kids taking their life because of it. It's because it's 24/7. They can, and you can't escape it. So encourage your kids to let you know immediately if they are cyberbullied, or if they know someone is being cyberbullied, and make sure that they know you're not going to take away the device because of it, because then they, you know, that's why a lot of them won't tell you.
They're afraid to tell,
so just let them know. It's important you come to me. I'm not going to yank your device from you, but you need to let me know. That's so important.
And also, if they know of someone, like you said, if they have a friend who's the victim of it, you're helping your friend.
Absolutely, before it gets or turns into a tragic situation. And then establish rules about the use of the device or the computer. Let them know what sites are off limit, where they can go. This is where, again, the parental controls come in handy, because even on, you know, I have my son has an iPod and an iPad, and I go in there and you'll see they have great restriction options. So for instance, you can specifically say if there's a site you want to block. And I put YouTube strictly because he likes to go watch Minecraft things.
Minecraft videos,
But YouTube, anything can be posted. So he knows if he wants to go and look at a Minecraft video, it's got to come to me. So just make sure that they know what's offline, and then use those parental controls to make sure they don't get to those things. Help them be smart about what they post. Remind them, don't post anything that's going to hurt someone or embarrass someone or yourself. Help them use good judgment. Tell them to think about who else is going to be seeing that. Could be strangers. What kind of information are you sharing? Because it could come back to haunt them in their life. So you've got to really make sure you know what you're putting out there. And for privacy settings on social media, definitely go with the most private setting possible, because that makes it less likely they're going to access information they shouldn't, or that some of that information is going to get shared with their circle of friends. But it's important to stress to them that there really is no such thing as privacy when you're filing the internet. Sometimes when stuff is out there, you're never going to get it back. And you're right, it could haunt you. A lot of employers, first thing they do is go see what people are, the people that are,
social media.
They're going to interview what they're doing on social media. So they just really, I think with social media, so many people have just thought they don't see the person. So they
it feels so conversational too.
Say what they want without thinking about the ramifications. So definitely have that conversation with your child about social media. Again, it's harder for us parents in this day and age because we have to become a little tech savvy.
Oh, of course.
But it's worth it because not only will it give you peace of mind, again, there's just too many ways kids today can get too much information out there and put themselves and the other family members at risk by doing that.
And you are absolutely right. Parental controls, definitely, when you get that tablet or whatever, make sure you read the instructions on that and figure that part out, because I have kids too. I have the parental controls set where it turns off. After a certain amount of time, you can do that. You can limit their time on there. There's all sorts of things you can do.
And they have to come to you if they want to download something. Then you know you're getting to review. Okay, let me see is it for everyone? Is it
they
for
can't spend money without your password? All that. It
makes a big difference, and I think that's a key thing. Some parents just don't even know what's available to them, and it's scary though. So definitely look into that. That's the first question I would ask my provider if I was out shopping for a device for my friend. What controls do you have available? Some are free, some you have more flexibility and you'll pay a price, but it's single digit, which is worth the peace of mind. So
exactly. All right. And now, is there a website? This is a lot of information. Is there a website that AT&T has where people can go to kind of have it all distilled for them?
Well, for instance, if you want to find out more about the parental controls, it's like att.com/smart limits.
Okay.
And they also provide tips there as well.
Okay, great.
And the itcanwait.com, of course, is great for your teen drivers.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. This is very helpful information, and kids are going back to school, and this could be a very intricate part of the back-to-school shopping this year. So, all right, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And we'll be right back after these messages.